Hi, I'm Yaz Mishima, the creator of Primate and Primate AI. In this video, I'll explain how to use Primate AI. Primate is a powerful chroma key software originally released over 30 years ago. Recently, it was completely rewritten and reintroduced as a new software called Primate AI. Primate AI is now available as an OFX plugin for the Autodesk Flame platform. Primate AI utilizes a range of advanced technologies to deliver excellent composite results while retaining the ease of use of the original Primate. First, take a look at this comparison. The right side shows the auto-compute result from the original Primate, while the left side shows the result from the new Primate AI with no manual adjustments. As you can clearly see, the backscreen area is cleaner in Primate AI and the edges are softer. Primate changed the color of the hair in this area. One good point of Primate is that it preserves the yellow shirt color more accurately. As you know, Primate has many tools to fine-tune the chroma key conditions. Here's the result from Primate after several adjustments, including the clean BG and clean FG operations. The background is now cleaner, but some hair details have been lost, and the edges are becoming harder. Here is the original green screen image. It's not an ideal setup. There are many wrinkles and uneven lighting, making it challenging for Primate. Primate AI also shows a noticeable spot of dirt here, but overall its quality is superior to the original Primate. When Primate AI renders this sequence without any manual adjustments, the result looks like this. You may notice some flickering background noise, which can be easily managed using Primate AI's GUI. With a well-prepared green screen, Primate AI delivers an acceptable result with no human intervention. However, I understand that every VFX professional encounters challenging green screen shots. I hope this video helps you get the best out of Primate AI. In the next chapter, I will introduce the basic operational flow of OFX Primate AI. The third chapter will cover the use of the clean back, also known as the clean plate, in detail. In chapter 4, I will explain the 3 drive modes of Primate AI. Chapter 5 introduces a new feature called Mixer Mode. In the final chapter, I will share various hints and tech tips. In this chapter, I'll explain the basic operation flow of the OFX Primate AI on Autodesk Flame. First, prepare your green screen foreground and background clips. Open an OpenFX node and select Primate AI from the Kia group. Connect the foreground and background clips to the first and the second sockets of the OFX Primate AI node, respectively. This brings up the Primat AI GUI and the default result. The GUI has 3 pages: Main, FG Color, and Matte Util. Most chroma key adjustments are made on the main page. To start, I'll demonstrate the easiest operation using the AI drive mode. The other modes, manual and pixel adaptive, will be covered in a later chapter. These sliders are disabled when you are in AI drive mode. When using AI drive mode, Primat AI attempts to set up the chroma key parameters as thoroughly as possible. First, it scans the foreground image and estimates the background color using a machine learning technique called support vector machine. Then it generates a cleanback, which is an artificial green screen without any foreground objects. Next, it analyzes the color components in the foreground object to develop a pixel processing coefficient. Finally, all pixels are processed according to this coefficient. These steps are completed automatically with no manual adjustment needed. If the AI drive mode result doesn't meet your expectations, you can make further adjustments. Here's how to fine-tune the output. As you can easily notice, there's a large dirt spot in the upper right area. The background screen noise can be controlled using the BG transparency slider. Increasing the slider value reduces background noise. Since this slider adjusts the tolerance for the background color range, it also removes the fine details and creates a harder, choppy edge. Keep this slider value as low as possible. If you have persistent dirt spots and can't achieve a clean result, it's often better to paint them out. However, before manually removing the dirt with paint, there's another step to consider. The dirt may remain due to poor clean back generation. Primat AI always uses a clean backplate generated from the original green screen foreground. If you have a real clean plate, you can use it as an external cleanback. This technique is discussed in chapter 3 of this video. When using the internally generated cleanback, you can adjust a slider called Clean Back Level. This changes the threshold for the background color area in the clean plate generation. When set to 1.0, the clean plate appears flat and consistent in color. Adjusting this slider can create a smoother clean plate. In this example, setting the value to 0.2 removes the dirt while preserving the overall shading of the background screen. Now the background dirt looks better. We can apply a slight adjustment to the BG transparency slider to further clean up the background noise. As you can see, adjusting the cleanback level and BG transparency sliders enhances the composite quality. The spill sub-level slider controls the green spill removal process. In this example, setting it to 0.4 brings the yellow shirt closer to its original color. The FG opacity slider controls the transparency of semi-transparent objects. The effect of this slider will be covered in detail in Chapter 6. In this chapter, I demonstrated the basic operation flow using an example clip. As I mentioned in the basic operational flow chapter, the clean plate is crucial for generating a key in Primate AI. Let's look at the example clip again. Due to uneven lighting on the background screen, the green in this area appears much darker than the brighter area above. If you set the dark area as the backing color reference, it works for the specific region but not for the brighter area, and vice versa. You could widen the tolerance to include both shades of green as a backing color, but this brings up another issue at the object's edge pixels. Edge pixels are a blend of the background screen and foreground colors, so the transition cannot be maintained accurately by a single background color. This is why Primate AI always uses a clean back plate. If you don't have an actual clean plate, Primate AI will generate a simple clean plate from the original foreground clip with a basic algorithm. The clean back level slider controls this clean back generation. Setting this slider to a lower value restricts the back screen to narrower range of greens. Increasing the value includes a wider green range as the back screen. At the maximum setting, 1.0, Primate AI uses a single, flat, consistent color as the back screen. You can adjust the clean back level while viewing the clean back output by changing the monitor mode. If the generated clean back plate is not satisfactory, you can try a two-path technique. Let me explain the key to this approach. As the first step, try to create the best clean back plate using the clean back level slider, then execute a trial render. Occasionally, you may notice flickering blobs around the foreground object after rendering a sequence. This could be caused by noise from the cleanback generator. If the scene is fixed camera shot with consistent lighting, the cleanback plate should ideally be a static single image. Use the Primate AI node to generate a cleanback source as the first path. Select the best cleanback plate frame from the sequence. While keeping the output mode set to cleanback screen, connect the output socket of the Primate AI node to a write file node, and render one frame to save the cleanback plate as a single file. Next, as the second path, import the saved file and connect it to the external cleanback socket of the Primate AI node. In the Primate AI's main page, check the Exit Clean Back button to activate this input. While the output may not appear to change significantly, you will notice that the rendered sequence no longer has flickering noise. If you still see noise in the external cleanback, you may want to apply paint or use a filter to refine the clean plate. Using this two-path technique, you can significantly improve the composite result as shown here. If you have an actual clean plate, of course, you can use it as an external clean back. You may also consider using third-party effects to generate the clean plate. The clean back plate is crucial for effective chroma keying in Primat AI. In this chapter, I have introduced techniques to maximize its functionality. In this chapter, the three drive modes of Primat AI will be explained. Primat AI utilizes two core processes algorithms, the relief patch process and the pixel adaptive process. The relief patch process is used in AI drive mode and manual drive mode, while the pixel adaptive process is exclusively used in pixel adaptive drive mode. The relief patch process is based on a chroma keying scheme called the separating surface model. This model positions a virtual 3D surface in RGB color space to classify the pixel colors of a green screen image into three regions: foreground region, background region, transition region. Transition region pixels. For these, Primat and Primat AI calculate transparency by measuring the pixel's distance to the background and foreground surfaces. It's closer to the background surface, more transparent. Closer to the foreground surface, less transparent. This algorithm is applied to every pixel in the green screen image to generate the matte output. Primat AI introduces a new separating surface called the relief patch. Unlike the conventional Primat's polygon-based surface, which uses 128 triangles, the relief patch is a flexible, closed curved surface. This allows it to adapt more effectively to various foreground color distributions. However, the polygon approach is simpler and computationally lighter compared to the complex relief patch process. The relief patch process is used in AI drive mode and manual drive mode. Let's look at the differences between two modes. AI drive mode. This mode is more automated, offering fewer user controls compared to manual drive mode. AI mode analyzes the green screen input and identifies the back screen color using a machine learning technique called support vector machine. It used supervised training with hundreds of green screen image samples. AI mode generates a rough matte to estimate the shape of the foreground object, which is then used to define the shape of the relief patch. In addition to the default processing, you can adjust four controls: Bayesian transparency, FG opacity, speed suppression, and clean back level as explained in the basic operational flow section. Manual drive mode. Manual mode provides less automation but offers more tunable parameters and precision controls. It uses stylus sampling operations similar to the conventional Primat process. To perform chroma keying in manual mode, select BZ in the sampling mode and pick a typical backscreen color from the foreground input image. It is especially useful for imperfect green screens. Manual mode also includes additional stylus sampling modes to control backscreen noise and foreground transparency. These operations are explained in detail in Chapter 6. Pixel Adaptive Process, a new approach. The pixel adaptive process, introduced for the first time in Primate AI, is a completely different algorithm. It uses an internally generated image called smear FG, which mimics the effect of melting the colors of the foreground object outward into the green screen area. Let's illustrate the advantage with an example. Here, the foreground object has red colors in front of the green screen. Since the color of an edge pixel is a mixture of the backscreen color and the foreground object color, it is natural to find some brown pixels at the edge of a red foreground object in front of a green screen. These brown pixels should be processed as semi-transparent foreground pixels. However, if there is a foreground area with a similar brown color that appears as an opaque pixel, problems arise because the pixel is treated as semi-transparent. In this example, the flesh tone of the face is close in color to the red edge pixels. Adjusting the parameters to make the flesh tone area fully opaque would result in unnatural edges for the red foreground object, as the semi-transparent edge pixel would also become opaque. Primate AI's pixel adaptive process overcomes this limitation. Unlike conventional methods, the pixel adaptive process dynamically adjusts pixel processing parameters based on the neighboring foreground color conditions at each pixel. This adaptability ensures correct matte extractions for both red and flesh tones depending on their specific locations. The pixel adaptive process is available in the pixel adaptive drive mode. You can view the output of this mode at any time by switching the drive mode to pixel adaptive. Here's a summary of 3 drive modes and their best use cases. AI drive mode, great starting point. Best for clean and evenly lit green-blue screens, requires minimal adjustments. Manual drive mode, designed for professional level control, suitable for challenging green-blue screens, allows detailed adjustments for fine-tuning. Pixel adaptive mode, fully automatic, ideal for still images, best for scenes with colorful and complex foregrounds. I have explained the 3 drive modes of Primate AI. You can switch between them as needed and compare the results to determine the most suitable mode for your specific scenario. In this chapter, Mixer mode is explained. It's a new feature in Primate AI designed to enhance professional VFX workflows. This mode is particularly beneficial for workflows requiring complex scenes with many layers and nodes, and it is also highly effective in collaborative VFX projects involving multiple artists. Mixer mode in Primate AI does not generate a matte. Instead, it is used to composite a green-blue screen clip with a background clip relying on an externally created matte. If you were to simply combine these elements using a basic comp node, you would likely see green spill at the edge of composite. This spill occurs because the edges of matte are not purely 0% transparent or 100% opaque. As a result, the edges of the original clip, which are slightly greenish, mix with the background clip. While applying green cancellation can improve this, it often fails to achieve optimal result. To understand the advantage of mixer mode, let's first revisit the principles of chroma keying. You can visualize the color information in the green screen image as a 3D space with RGB values plotted on the X, Y, and Z axis. Consider the edge of a hair in the image. The green backscreen color is here. The hair color is here. The edge pixels are distributed between these two colors, forming a gradient in this 3D space. The separating surface model defines a back color point in this space, a separating surface that differentiates foreground colors from background colors. When the green screen color is sampled, the color point lies near the background color point. When the hair color is sampled, it is positioned on the opposite side of the separating surface. When a transition color is sampled, it falls between the back color point and the separating surface. To compute the matte density for a transition color, an imaginary line is drawn from the back color point to the transition color point. The distance from the transition color to the back color point is measured as A. The distance from the separating surface intersection to the background color point is measured as B. Matte density is calculated as A divided by B. For example, a color halfway between the back color point and the separating surface would yield a matte density of approximately 50%. A hair color would result in a matte density above 1.0, 100% opaque. A green screen color would have a matte density close to 0.0, fully transparent. By processing all pixels in this manner, the matte image is generated. When compositing a 50% matte edges pixels on the gray background using a standard comp node, the greenish pixel and the gray background are mixed equally. The edge pixel is not entirely green. It includes components of both the green screen and the hair color. However, this simple alpha composite inevitably introduces green spill. A common solution is to perform green cancellation using color curves or other tools to neutralize the green component of the original clip. While this improves the appearance, it introduces another issue. When the green cancelled pixels and background pixels are combined with a 50% matte, the background color dominates due to the double multiplication of 50%. This results in the loss of detail in the foreground object. Primatte AI avoids green cancellation altogether. Instead, it changes the edge mixture color to an essential color, in this example, the hair color. When the essential color is mixed with a background using a 50% matte, the result is a true 50% blend of the hair color and the background. This preserves the hair detail, avoiding the loss caused by green cancellation and pre-multiplied composite. Mixer mode accepts the externally generated matte and performs compositing with the green screen original and background using chroma key specific calculations. If you have a high quality matte, try using mixer mode instead of relying on green cancellation and a comp node. To use mixer mode, connect the green screen original, the background, and the matte to the respective socket in the Primate AI node. Toggle the mixer mode button to view the composite result. You will see enhanced detail retention in the edges and semi-transparent areas. If a clean plate, manually created or from the set, is available, it is best to use it with mixer mode. The clean plate helps in processing the edges and semi-transparent pixels with more accurate backscreen color information. In the matte util page of the GUI, you will find a control labeled MX Mode Gamma. This control adjusts the intermediate curve of the externally provided matte, fine-tuning how the edge pixels are processed and blended. In this chapter, I will discuss the following topics as operational hints and technical tips. Primate AI's spill suppression level slider is used to remove greenish or bluish components from the extracted foreground. There are three types of spill suppression. Essential color. Color component clipping of the original foreground. Color component clipping of the essential color. Essential color is explained in the mixer mode chapter of this video. Primate AI estimates each pixel's essential color based on its matte level. On the other hand, color component clipping explicitly removes greenish or bluish tones. This technique pushes all colors in the green semicircle of the vector scope toward the neutral plane. Since essential color might leave some greenish pixels, color component clipping can be applied on top. Now you have three types of spill suppressed images and the original foreground. The spill suppression level slider adjusts the smooth transition among these four images. If the value 1.0 means essential color with color component clipping, 0.66 color component clipping of the original foreground, 0.33 essential color without clipping, 0.0 no suppression. Intermediate levels are created through proportional blending of adjacent values. You can fine-tune the spill suppression result while checking the composite output or the processed foreground output. GMAT and FMAT. The Primate AI node accepts two types of externally generated matte images to conceal garbage on the backscreen or fill holes in the foreground. GMAT is used to hide unwanted elements in the backscreen, create a white mask on the black base that covers the unnecessary object. FMAT is used to fill semi-transparent areas in the foreground. If you notice see-through parts in the foreground, provide a white mask on a black base to make those areas opaque. The GMAT and FMAT take effect simply by connecting their output to the Primate.ai node. To toggle the effects of GMAT or FMAT, use the GMAT off or FMAT off buttons in the MAT util page. These buttons allow you to bypass masking even when the mats are connected to the node. Output mode. In the main page, you will find the Output mode pull-down menu. Composite, the final composite output. Mask, the chroma key mask calculated by Primate.ai, which can be used for compositing in subsequent nodes. FG, the original green-blue screen foreground. Clean backscreen, the clean backplate used in Primate.ai processing. If an external clean backplate is connected, it will be displayed in this mode. There are two types of processing foreground output. ProctFG PMP. This is the pre-multiplied processed foreground where the foreground image is multiplied by the chroma key mask. For example, if the mask is 50% gray, the foreground is dimmed to 50%. Using this output for compositing in a downstream node requires special handling to avoid dark fringes. The alpha value is multiplied twice, so you must suppress the background using a negative mask and add the foreground directly. ProctFG no PMP. This is the unpremultiplied processed foreground where no multiplication is applied. You will need to manually multiply the alpha when using this output. Although it may show bright noise in semi-transparent areas, it is mathematically correct and will contribute reasonably to the composite. Sampling operations. Finally, let's discuss the stylus sampling operations in Primate.ai. Similar to traditional Primate, you can use stylus sampling to adjust the chroma key. Sampling is available only in manual drive mode. Select BG. Set the primary backing color based on the average of the sampled area. This color is used to estimate the backscreen area and for edge transparency calculations. Clean BG reduces backscreen noise by adjusting the background transparency. Use this carefully as excessive noise removal may result in the loss of thin foreground objects. Clean FG refines the foreground color regions, modifying the separating surface to preserve sampled colors. TransFG makes sampled opaque areas more transparent. This is useful for softening edges. Matte Plus gradually increases the transparency with repeating sampling. Matte Minus gradually decreases transparency with repeated sampling. Restore Detail recovers lost foreground details like thin smoke that were accidentally removed. I hope this video helps you understand capabilities and advantages of Primate AI. Please share your feedback on the Contact Us page of Primate.com. Thank you for watching and happy chroma keying!